What's up, everybody? Big changes come into the U.S. retirement system, and I'm here to give you all the details. My name's Chris. I'm your financial coach, financial therapist, financial planner here with United Agency, and I'm here to talk about one of the biggest changes that we've seen in our retirement system in years. For those of you that haven't been paying attention, Congress just passed legislation called the Secure Act 2.0, and it has a bunch of changes to how you're going to be able to put money away for retirement. So let's start with the first area, RMDs, required minimum distribution. For those of you that know, if you sit in any type of 401k, IRA, 403b, 457 plan, required minimum distribution literally means that when you hit a certain age, the IRS is going to require you to take money out of that account. Why? Because you haven't yet paid your taxes on that money. So you hit a certain age, IRS says, hey, it's time for us to get some of those tax dollars. Well, they're making changes to the RMDs, a few different changes. In 2023, now the age will be 73 that you're now required to take those distributions. So just slightly a little bit older. But in 10 years, in 2033, they're moving that age to 75. So now it's giving you more time to have to pull money out of that retirement account. The second big thing for RMDs that they're making the change on, there's a rule that says if you don't take your RMDs, your required minimum distribution, the IRS will charge you a 50% penalty when you go and take it. So literally 50% as a penalty, not taxes, would go to the IRS if you chose to not take your RMDs. That's going to go down now to 25%. So they're cutting it from 50% to 25% as a penalty if you choose to not take it. And they even lower it even more and say if you take it within the next year, it's only a 10% penalty. The third thing that they're changing in the RMDs are going to be for deceased account holders. When someone passes away and they pass down that IRA or that tax deferred product and they were over the RMD age, currently 72, if they were over that age, whoever received that would actually have to start to continue to pay or take out the RMDs. Well, they're changing that rule and saying that even if the person that receives that deceased person's IRA is under the age of 73, they can delay their RMDs and it doesn't go on the original account holder's timeline. And lastly, this is a big one to RMDs, the Roth 401k no longer will have that RMD requirement. For those people that were contributing to a Roth 401k, as soon as they hit 72 and a half, again, moving to 73 now, if it was a Roth 401k, they would still be required to take that money. However, with the Secure Act 2.0, they are now getting rid of that entire rule so that Roth 401ks through your employer will not be subject to the RMDs. The Secure Act is also making changes to what is known as the catch-up contribution. Currently, people that are over the age of 50 years old, they have the ability to put more money into their retirement plans. Right now, that contribution, that catch-up, is $7,500 a year for people over the age of 50. Now, that $7,500 that people can put away is going to change specifically for people between the ages of 60 and 63. So it doesn't make clear language that it's going to be for people just over 50, but for people between the ages of 60 and 63, that number is going to move to $10,000 now. Instead of $7,500, you get a little bit older. Now you can put away $10,000 extra into your retirement plan. Something else they're also changing inside of there, in 2024, they're going to start giving adjustments for inflation. Every year, you're going to be able to add an additional $1,000 into your retirement plans just as a catch up with inflation inside of those retirement plans. Now, again, this seems to only be relevant for people that are 50 and older. If you're not in the catch-up phase, that $1,000 won't necessarily be for you. But for those that are already in that phase, you're going to get an additional $1,000 every year that allows you to match inflation as you head into those retirement years. So that's a big change. Lastly, and this one might be one of the biggest ones of all, for those people that are high income earners, people that make more than $145,000 a year that are in their catch-up phase, everything that they put in will go into a Roth contribution. Someone is 60 years old, they're currently putting money into their traditional 401k at their job. They make $150,000 a year. So that extra $7,500 or moving forward, that extra $10,000 that person is able to put away actually is all going to go into a Roth contribution, meaning that they're not going to be taxed down the line. They're going to be taxed currently on that money because it's post-tax dollars once you get into Roth. And then when they go and pull that money out, there's going to be no taxes on that portion of their catch-up contribution. So that's a big deal for higher income earners that are still trying to catch up in retirement. They're now going to put more money into tax advantage sides of Roth, and they are going to be in a tax deferred nature. Here's another big change that's coming with this Secure Act 2.0 is the contribution match for Roth 401ks. If you've been contributing to a traditional 401k or 403b at your job, that's when your employer will match you. They'll say, hey, up to a certain amount, we'll be able to match your contribution because it's pre-tax dollars. So that company gets the write-off and you don't have to pay taxes on that money right away. But what typically hasn't happened is that for Roth 401k contributions, the employer has not been able to match. Now, if you choose to designate money into a Roth 401k, meaning post-tax, your employer has the ability to match those contributions. That's a big deal, and that's going to be a big change moving forward. It also appears in this Secure Act 2.0 that they're actually going to start prioritizing us Americans to have emergency fund savings. They're doing it in a couple ways. One of the ways that they're doing it is by creating emergency fund accounts attached to your 401k. So they're going to give people the opportunity to save through their 401k in a separate sub account that works as an emergency fund. Best part about this, it seems, is that the company, your employer, will have the ability to match you on that emergency fund savings. From the paycheck that you receive from your job, you're going to be able to put money into 401k, then also put it into an emergency fund savings, and your company is going to have the ability to match you for both. The rules or the stipulation on the matching for the emergency fund is going to be up to $2,500, and it's only for people that make under $150,000 a year. Not for your higher income earners at jobs, but more for people that are looking to save some emergency fund money through their job and make it convenient so that it comes directly out of their paycheck, and the company's going to give you the ability, or they're going to be able to match you up to that $2,500 for those people that make under $150,000 a year. They're also prioritizing emergency distribution. There's a few criteria under your traditional 401k or 403b rules that give you the ability to take money out of that account for hardships, for emergencies, or even for things like purchasing your first home or health related things. But now they're going to make it even easier to be able to take money out of those accounts for emergency. Starting in 2024, they're going to give you the ability to withdraw $1,000 a year for emergencies, penalty free. Believe you still have to pay the taxes on that money, but it's without penalty, because normally there's a 10% penalty that is attached when you go and withdraw money from your 401k or 403b or tax deferred product. If you don't pay back that money within the first 3 years, then they're going to stop you from taking out that emergency money. If you choose not to pay that back, then they're going to stop you from the ability to pull money out as an emergency after that 3rd year. The other area that they're really encouraging, or that they're really helping some people out, is in this clause or this stipulation around domestic abuse survivors. People that have been victims of domestic abuse and have survived it, well, they're giving you an emergency clause in there that says if you were a victim of this, you can pull out up to $10,000 or up to half of your account value to take care of yourself, that is now an emergency clause that they've put in that allows you to withdraw that money if you've been a victim of domestic abuse. It also says that if you pay back that money within 3 years of you taking that out, that you won't even have to pay the taxes that you incurred on that money. It will refund you the taxes that you paid if you pay back that amount within 3 years. Another area they're making a big change for those current employers that do not offer a 401k or 403b or some type of retirement account, starting in the year 2025, if you now are offering a 401k or 403b through, right, as an employer, they are going to require you to automatically enroll your employees in that benefit account. And the stipulation they add to it is that every year it will increase by 1%. So this is a major change for people that will be looking for employment moving forward, or employers that are moving forward to have more opportunity for their employees to save. This is going to be a big deal because automatic enrollment forces people to be able to save in these retirement plans. This is going to be a big one from this Secure Act 2.0, is the student loan match. We've heard rumblings of this before. There's been a few things out there talking about when people are paying back their student loans, it often hinders them from putting away for retirement because those payments normally equal about the same thing. So most people are choosing to pay off their student loan debt rather than invest in their 401k or IRA. Well, Secure 2.0, they're actually changing some of these things and saying that companies now, they're able to match contributions that you are giving to your student loan debtor, or the person or the people that you're paying for your student loans. Your company is going to be able to match those dollars inside of a retirement account. Big deal, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine you're paying $400 a month to Sally Mae, to Navient, for your student loan, and you tell your employer, hey, I'm paying $400 to Navient for my student loan, then the company will put $400 into your retirement account every month as long as you're making those student loan payments. This could be a really, really big game changer for a lot of people that are trying to debate between saving for retirement and paying off their student loans, but it seems like they're trying to make it easier for people to be able to do both. When it comes to those student loans, there's another side of what the Secure Act 2.0 is also doing. 529 plans. 529 plans is a typical account for people to save for their children's education. Whether it be parents or grandparents, you put money away into a 529 plan is specifically meant for education purposes. If you choose to pull that money out and don't use it for educational purposes, typically you would be taxed on that money because it has to go to something towards education. Well, the government's now giving you the ability to roll that money from 529 plans into a Roth IRA. So it takes it from one tax advantaged or tax-free place and puts it in another tax advantage place in a Roth IRA. That 529 account has to have been active for at least 15 years for you to take advantage of this. So you can't just start a 529 plan right away and then convert it right into a Roth IRA right away if your child chooses to not go to school. However, if that account has been open for 15 years and you've been diligently putting money away for your child's education and there's still a balance on there, you're the beneficiary of that, you can roll that into a Roth IRA. Your child can roll that into a Roth IRA. Now, it's going to still be subject to the Roth IRA limits, $6,500 a year. If they raise that, it might be more. So if you have $30,000 in there, you're going to have to do it over multiple years, but still gives you the ability to move it into another tax advantage place. And I believe they also said that $35,000 is the most you can do for the lifetime of that policy. Meaning, if you have $48,000 in a 529 plan, you're only going to be able to put away $35,000 or roll over $35,000 into that Roth IRA. And obviously you would have to do that over multiple years, but you won't be able to take the full balance if it's over $35,000. And the last point that was made from this Secure Act 2.0 that I think also is just a huge deal is the fact that they're now going to create a 401k registry nationally. So right now, 401ks are really only located by state. So if you had an old 401k from a previous employer, it's really hard to be able to locate it. You got to call your employer. You got to maybe check in with who they went through as far as the company that was managing the funds, and you might not be able to find it that easily. But with the Secure Act 2.0, they're going to make it simple for everyone across the country to be able to find their old 401ks. There's going to be a database that is just an online search for you to search your name, most likely, and put it in, and you'll find where you have all of your old 401ks. Very similar to unclaimed property that happens per state. This is going to happen nationwide for people to be able to track down their old 401ks that maybe they didn't know they had. That's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a lot of lost money that people find that's going to really be able to benefit them moving forward. So those were all the facts from this Secure Act 2.0 that Congress just recently passed. Again, if you guys aren't seeing it already, this is going to be a major shift and a major change in how we're talking about retirement, in the products that we have to retire, honestly helping people put more money away.